Unmute yourselves, you guys.
Welcome to the tip. I'm your host, Alisa Bowens-Mercado. So back. It seems like forever, but we're bringing back the show with a bang. That's right. We've got a women's hour. We're going to call this the women's happy hour. I'm so happy to be joined by my good friend Eleanor Slomba. We've got Sarah and Bree from Women's Work, and we've got a lot to talk about today. So I'm really excited to have everyone back in. Hey, shout out to my WNHH crew, 103.5 FM. Miss you guys so much. Hope everyone is staying safe and continuing to be well during all of these adverse times. I don't even know where to start. That's a whole nother show. But the talk tips will be back every week, or at least every other week, to go over some great topics. I think we're seeing a ton of collaborations happening out new businesses, and today we're going to be specifically talking about women-owned businesses. So that's why I'm excited to have my panel, my co-host, my special guest, all here with me. So hi, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And of course, Eleanor is always like that, that connector. She is that, will get you connected. You call Eleanor, you want to be connected, and her Rolodex is long. And so, Eleanor, thank you so much for joining us and connecting me with these two phenomenal women that are on the show today. So, Eleanor, let's start with you, okay? What has how has it been working or connecting with these new businesses? Because like I said, I know you put things together, but what was so special about this class?
Well, seeing the arts sector change so drastically and venues being closed, there's just such a hole in the heart, even as we see creators, sustaining communities and giving us inspiration where we really need it the most. But I got a wonderful reach out from Collab, the wonderful folks who do the accelerator for all kinds of ventures. And, I've been in their loose pool of mentors for a while, and they said, we've got a great match. It's not always the case that every single mentor in their pool gets matched up every single time. But I had to agree because I met Bria as a participant in Citywide Open Studios last year when she brought her women's focused art making practices to that event. And then to hear that she was putting it together as a business for the summer. I mean, we can't really travel this summer, but yet
Right.
Keeping up a studio art making practice is like traveling within. And they were very kind enough to let me join the program. So I have some firsthand experience I think have some ink from yesterday from making seaweed prints, which they'll tell you all about.
Oh, so, listen, it's good to have a little ink on your hands.
It really does. I really, really felt great. So they have an online platform. It's all online, but you go and physically pick up art supplies. I mean, they'll explain, but it's just so fun to like wheel up and get the stuff and unpack it and feel so special because they packed it for you. And then, get to do stuff with it and then come back to this online platform to really connect with a wonderful group of people. So I think I set the scene enough. So I just want to hear more.
Yeah, no. So Sarah and Bree, Women's Work, I love it. One of you take over. Where did the concept come from? Where did where did all the art magic start happening? And what have you been? Well, no, let's start with that because I want to see how it excelled you during COVID.
I can address that, and then I'd love to hear your response, Sarah, and Alisa, of course. I think that the genesis of this goes back to birth on some level and like formative experiences of recognizing that women really thrive when they have a place to put their like earth energy, their wild, their aliveness. And, that's a cultural issue And so we came together knowing that women and mothers really benefit from having a voice and expression that doesn't rely on words necessarily, that relies on art.
Right.
And that was the beginning of a studio practice that we had here for several years in person, which morphed during COVID into what Eleanor is familiar with. So maybe I condensed that a lot.
And so and Sarah, so tell me, and that's great when you're right, because I think we as women always see things outside of, okay, there's a situation, but how are we going to take these earthly, God-given, nurturing talents and bring them out to the forefront? So Sarah, if you just want to piggyback on what Bree, and explain your vision and how you came about.
Yeah. So I moved to the New Haven area literally the day or so after my daughter was born. I delivered in New York and then drove up to our new home just outside of Manhattan. And connected. So talk about a transformative experience, and then connected with Bria shortly after through the neighborhood. And she invited me into the studio. And it was such a healing process for me after becoming a new mom and the transition and working through all of that with art. I didn't have an art practice before, but the community of women, the sharing that happened in that room, all of those things was just incredible. And so she and I started dreaming about, okay, we have this amazing community of women who have such rich, vibrant backgrounds.
Right.
What could we do collectively? And we applied to CoLab and got into their accelerator program right as quarantine was happening. And that program gave us the structure to really build and say, okay, what's doable in this new reality? Right. Still support women and kids at home through the really the healing nature of art that we've experienced. So that's where this program came from.
That is amazing. Now, is this just for little kids or is this for big kids like myself? Can I come and pick up well, Eleanor said she had ink on her hand, so I'm assuming it's for big kids like myself that want to come and pick up a package and, get my hands dirty per se. Tell us, so now, Bree, your studio is located where? Do you have separate studios? And then tell me how the collab, how did that connect you both with what you're doing now?
Yeah, so our studio is at 169 East Street. So it's just off of Chapel in New Haven. And we share it. We've shared it during the week with our art groups. And now we're, building our CSA out of it. And you asked also about, is this for big kids or little kids?
Right.
And the most current inspiration around the step before this. So the piece that brought me to bringing art to women as a way of, bringing joy into the household, impacting wellness, and creating a place where women can play and where they can meet their kids in play, came out of working as an art therapist at the Yale New Haven Children's Hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I was always drawn to the moms, and I realized that the women and the moms are the key to the wellness in the household often, or a big place to make an impact in that receptivity of women to creativity was where the original idea came from. So then the studio to CoLab has been a natural evolution in the times we're in.
That's it. That is amazing. And Sarah, are you seeing during COVID and just the kind of the climate of the country, are you seeing more people reaching out to the arts?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm seeing personally within our group and within my friend circle, I'm seeing a lot of moms that are just completely overwhelmed. Okay. Trying to manage everything at home. And unfortunately, when that happens, they tend to put themselves last and don't take care of themselves. And so we're also hoping that this practice, or kind of signing up for the program, will kind of reinforce taking care of themselves. They can also do it with their children, and kind of combining those two things so they don't forget about it, that nature of art and the connection, and get working with your hands and getting into flow state and all those benefits of it. So what the program looks like is we're kind of doing a bridge. So you can pick up an art kit weekly in person at the studio. And then Bria recorded these really beautiful weekly art prompts and a meditation. So we're also kind of adding in that wellness piece where you can really like relax and reset your system. And so women can do it on their own or with their kids as a family. They can share in all the supplies and get into it. It's been great.
I love it. Eleanor was actually holding up her, can we see those tools again, please?
These are, you probably may have had an experience in childhood of getting some art supplies, and that moment when you open it up and they're just so like juicy and pristine and beautiful. Mine are starting to get a little messy, but yeah, the activities are so fun. And you mentioned big kids. It's like I have teenagers, I've got big kids who get annoyed when I'm asking them so many questions about their lives and sort of hovering. And so to have this to like go off, like I'm going to go off and do my art, it gives me that appropriate air of mystery. Like I have something that you can't be, that's behind my door. And I think, I think they're curious. They were kind of, peering around to see what I was doing. And that made me feel good. But, so Bria mentioned a CSA. So that's the idea. It's summer play CSA. Instead of community supported agriculture, it's community supported art. And we're in the second week of an 8-week summer program. And it may be 8 weeks in the future. You might get feedback and, adjust the format. They've been adjusting, there's a Zoom call to connect with the other people. You want to talk about the response you all have gotten to this first go round?
Yeah, what is it? Tell me, what is it, anytime you're dealing, with what we're seeing right now, business owners are taking those risks of, is this going to work? Is that not going to work? I'm directly in the arts. And so, I'm like, oh my gosh, are my salsa students going to be around? But, they're joining me on Zoom. And so, but in, the first week, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm celebrating 20 years and I've got like, there's nobody in here. I'm like, where did everybody go? And so there probably had to be some apprehension of, just during these times, but just having a business. I mean, you guys just launched, not even, was it a few years ago or not even?
The studio practice in person started a few years ago, and Sarah's been there the whole time, been part of it, and then co-creating with me for almost a year, I think. And I think it was when I was able to grieve the not coming into the studio every day that I started to have more inspiration around what's possible. And just also the opening of need that we see around connection. Like that need for connection is so much stronger, and it's taking place in the home. And
tell us about like what Eleanor was saying. Like, tell us about I mean, I'm sure there was some kind of demand because people are just like, what am I going to do? They need therapy, they need art, they need to do something. So what did you see immediately?
Well, like Sarah was saying, we noticed that a lot of the women with kids had trouble putting themselves kind of into the self-care lineup, or just trouble showing up because they were in the kind of trenches of staying at home or juggling work and home. And that's really real. And with the women who don't have kids, so we kind of support like two main cohorts, women with kids and women beyond active parenting. But we've noticed that that's more of a blend this summer, those two groups. But with the group of women who don't have kids, the connection was easier and maybe even more necessary. Some women living alone and really wanting to see faces and also kind of have some structure to go into their creative process. And like Eleanor, you were talking about the mystery and having this creative experience for yourself. And I feel like mystery is so important in relationships. And the flip side of that is that I think littler kids are really drawn to mystery. So they're drawn to the art in a way that is really powerful compared to being like formally invited to something just to take the art supplies out. It's amazing who will join you at the table when you get into your own groove.
Yeah, and that's so true. And especially for the art community, and I've got to shout out my little village over here, Westville, the arts community. Love them dearly. We've just got, it's funny because it really is a village. It's a family. When you talk about arts, you're talking about people that really are coming together during these times and really being expressive. I mean, I've seen this through music, through DJing. I've seen it through art, and what you both are doing. I've seen it through photography. I've just seen it, especially with the arts community. It's just, I think, applause. I'm applauding the arts community in Connecticut, and so especially in New Haven, especially because I just think the programs that you have going on, you really tapped in not to just what you were feeling, internally. It was about what can we do as, a whole for the community and for not just ourselves, because I know as artists, we just get into that, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? That human interaction. But then, our brains, how our brains work as artists, then we figure it out. And so it sounds like the two of you figured it out quickly. So tell me, Sarah, how did you come up with the concept? What goes in this art kit? And so I'm curious, because when Eleanor held up that palette, those are palettes, correct? Yes, the palette. Yeah, that just brought back a flood of childhood memories. I'm gonna have to get my art brush out.
Well, I'll just quickly flash, what kind of fun things can come out of it.
Good job. Good job. So what comes in this kit, and how did you guys decide what would be in the kit? And if you could walk us through that, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, we wanted something. We were thinking, if everyone's going to be home, some people have space for a home studio and have that practice, and some don't at all. So we created a really cool box that could be like your portable art studio. And so every week we're kind of layering in supplies that will also build on top of each other. So by the end of the program, you can do collages, you can do mixed media. So you have all these different, there's the box top we love. It's super bright.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so that's what.
And they personalized it. Look at that.
Oh, you personalized everybody's boxes. So I can come by and it's going to say Alisa, and if I'm not being selfish, I'll get maybe my husband one and we can, paint together. I love that.
And then the second part of the offerings, which is really where Bria tapped into, it was that during quarantine, it was so wonderful to go outside into nature. And so we're trying to bring in as many natural elements to the weekly art offerings as possible. So the first week was leaf rubbing. The second week is seaweed printing. Like, we're trying to work with all the natural elements. We went and harvested seaweed from the beaches.
A literal jar of seaweed, Alisa.
We can get those in a box? Are you kidding me? It
smells like the ocean. Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Oh, so that is beyond creative. Okay, so we've got a box, we've got, a palette, we've got seaweed. So now is each week different? Like, do you have a different theme box every week? So I'm curious, what was your first box? What was in your first box?
Bria, do you want to jump in?
Oh, sure. So I believe that good quality supplies, the richness of the paint and the texture and the color, really allows people to witness themselves as an artist, or enriches their experience of their creativity. So we like to get really good supplies, good quality supplies that are curated to build on each other. So printmaking and painting, working on paper and fabric, working with natural elements, and also using a process called jelly plate printing that Amy McNamara, who's a great local artist, turned me on to. So we have all of these different mediums that towards the end of the 8 weeks, we invite people to blend together.
Okay.
First week it was a really kind of intuitive set of.
Eleanor got the goods.
Yeah.
Can you read that?
Please steal your crayons.
Yes. So that was your first assignment, to get these pastels with the little note saying unpeel them.
It.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So then, Bree, once, like you said, you get your first box. So continue. No, that I love that. I think that's great. It's a lot of stuff in the box.
Yeah, so the box, there's one box, but every week people get a bundle to go in their box, and those were actually beeswax crayons. So they're made from beeswax, from honey hives, beehives, honeycombs, and they smell amazing, and the colors are super rich. And the invitation for like the first week's kit was to rub leaves and then watercolor paint on them. And we also really wanted to invite people to go on like foraging missions out in nature to find leaves or to bring some of their supplies out. I mean, if you live in an apartment and you have house plants, you can use those leaves. But it's an invitation to go out in nature as well.
I love that.
So the assignment was to gather things on your walk, but I didn't even walk. I gathered some feathers and things. I have the bird. So my first rubbing was just, a little bit different.
These come with like the box comes with instructions, correct? Or let me. So it comes with instructions, but do you hold Zoom meetings of, okay, I get the box, I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, refreshing my memory. It's like, what do I do with this? Like, so tell me your social media platform for, once everybody gets that box of goodies.
We use a platform called Teachable. So there are videos that I've recorded where I invite people into the process. And so they get, a full instruction of how they might enjoy that technique, that week's technique. And they also get a meditation. So these are online and they can easily just access this whole like archive. And we offer one video and one meditation per week or more. So it's really accessible. And that's something that we learned going through CoLab, this platform, and how it's super user friendly for people. And Sarah or Eleanor, you might have something to add.
Well, there's 4 sections to each week that I've noticed so far. The meditation, because that's nice. If you don't even feel like picking up stuff yet, if you're way in your head or whatever, it helps you kind of shift gears. And then there's the explanation of the week's prompt. And then after you go and do it, which you can do it while Bria's doing it on the video, or you can just watch the video and then do it yourself at another time. There's plenty of supplies to share if somebody in your household wants to do it with you. And then there's an invitation to reflection. And invitation is a nice word because it's no pressure, but it's kind of like journaling about your process. You answer a few questions and everybody can see each other's. So that's the social part. When you said social media, where you can see each other's reflections and you can upload, drag and drop images of what you make. So it's like show and tell with your other folks.
Oh, I love it.
And then the fourth thing is the inspiration gallery, pictures that these guys, the advanced group, shows us some various different ways you can stretch the assignment or different directions you could go in. And a very important thing is that you can look at 10 different examples and they're all very, very different. So it just helps you feel safer to, find your.
And that's what I'm going to tell you. That's where I love the fact that, it's so poignant because with art, and people being expressive, and there's a lot of people that are really, really expressive. It's good to see a different take on art. And that just leads to different, people can say, I didn't see that in, my vision. And I think it says something. I think it's that bigger picture of, all right, someone, the show and tell, they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. And I think that's very connective with, people and conversations and just really, connecting individuality into these projects. And I think that's the beautiful beautiful thing. Now, do you have like a Facebook page where, people are, they're coming on through social media, and, do you have like a friend Facebook page where people can join and like, weekly, is that what you were talking about, Eleanor, or was that the Facebook page, or is that something
there's a mini course that anyone can try, actually, and these guys can direct us to exactly what the URL is for that.
Yeah, and we'll get all of that. You know what? We're gonna get all of that. I don't know, Harry. Do we take a 30-second break so that I can, or maybe
I can grab? Let me grab it. I'll drop it in the chat.
Yes, perfect. Yes, if you drop it in the chat, that'd be great. We can totally do that. But no, because going back to how getting the arts and people really getting excited about what you are doing. How are you getting this out there? And that's why I said I'm so happy you guys are on, because these are things I think we so need now in for people to just sit back, breathe, and just really have like some connection. Again, I like just had a flood of like great memories as a child, and I think some of us need to do that. Just kind of unwind and get into our inner artist ourselves. Some people, you never know. You buy that box, get the box. You never know exactly like what's gonna come out of that. I still might be only able to draw stick figures, but that's yeah. So great, we have it up here on the screen. Taste of Summer Play CSA mini course, a nature art adventure. This fun, versatile pocket studio plant printing process can be enjoyed at home or outside. All you need is to step into play, to get curious and trust your intuition as you use shape, color, and texture to explore art making with nature. I think that's amazing. And that is and course curriculum. That's awesome. And I think we were talking about there's 8 weeks. I mean, I know you guys are in the middle. There you go. There's Bree, painting up the storm, getting her hands dirty. There you go. Choose a price option, and we're going to talk about that mini course, and then how to enroll, which is people are going to want to know how to enroll. So now, as far as, and we're going to keep scrolling through this as we continue to talk. What are these courses? I know there's we're in the sign of the time, and people are looking for stuff to do, but somebody might have a family, and they're trying to fit in other things. What are you offering to the community it's for these projects? And Sarah or Bree, you can take, you can either one of you that. Yes.
Sorry, what was the question? What are we offering to the community? Like, how can people get involved?
How can they enroll? And then is there, so just let us know how people can join this. And I was saying there's like some families that might have 2 or 3 kids. What are your packages look like for someone that's watching and going, you know what, I want to join, but I don't know if I can, fit this in right now. So please tell us, how your courses are set up and your fees.
Sure, absolutely. So we're doing it for 8 weeks right now. It's a summer play CSA. And we try to make it as financially accessible as possible. And we want to get a lot better at that in the future, kind of as we grow and can scale. So we have a couple of options that are on the website. The lowest is $200 for the 8 weeks, and that's just to cover the supplies. So we're basically donating the online videos and the art prompts and all of that material that you can use. And then upwards to a plan where you can actually pay for all of your supplies and all the online videos and put a little donation to go towards someone else. Because eventually we want it to be kind of a sliding scale where anybody can join if they're interested. And what we're talking about right now is actually piloting a shorter version. We've gotten some really good feedback, especially from Eleanor as well, to try and do something a little bit more accessible. So a 4-week, we're calling it Art Play for moms and kids, and it's slightly simplified in the videos. But it's the same high quality art supplies. It's the same nature based art. And just having something quick that they could do, since kids are home, camp isn't in session and all of those things. And everything is at womenswork.space. That's our website. So you can check that out, and you have all the different options there ready to check out.
Great. And we will be putting up your links. But yeah, because it's like, what if someone can't do the 8 weeks or the 4 weeks? So what if somebody just is watching this and is saying, I just want one, I want to get one box. That's what I can, let me just dive into one box. What would, what does that look like? Or you're still working on different packages?
Yeah, we're still thinking that through. I mean, the Taste of Summer Play, that Eleanor mentioned too, is the free video, and hopefully you have some of those supplies at home already. So you could just, with a stamp pad or even just crayons or something like that you have around the house. We tried to keep the techniques really friendly, kind of family friendly, that it's really kind of easy for anybody to pick up and experiment and use.
Okay.
We're really happy to share those videos and share, what we have already at no cost.
That is amazing. So now this collab, I love it because great minds are getting together and coming up with these amazing, things to do, like you're thinking outside of the box, literally outside of your box, your art boxes. And so what is this meant personally to the both of you? And I know we kind of touched on this a little earlier, but how is it helping you kind of navigate and get through these times through your own art? And I think sometimes people, when they see folks that are collabing and putting things out like that, it's like, sometimes we don't take that self-care that we need. But how is this personally affecting or benefiting you guys during this time?
I can share.
Families.
Say it again, the last part.
And like your families, if you have families, how is it bringing people together? I want to hear your own personal experiences.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is twofold. It's that making the helping people understand what we're up to, and inviting people into nature-based art. Like you mentioned that, like something around drawing a stick figure. The thing about collaborating with nature. Yeah, and you're not alone. I mean, research has been done around how many people don't think they're artistic or creative, and how many people have been told, like by a teacher, especially of a certain generation, that they weren't creative, weren't artists, etc. And we don't believe that at all. But we want people to experience that for themselves, which is one beautiful reason to collaborate with nature, because nature is like the ultimate beauty. So there's no need for a stick figure, but you still have like this complete experience of getting into your own rhythm and your own sense and your own aesthetic with the support of nature.
Literally.
And so for me, making rubbings and prints that I share around this project has been an opportunity to create. I feel like I have a lot of ideas right now that are like through my hands, but I've also had a lot of ideas around like the art therapeutic piece and the wellness and the joy of offering art. So I think that for me, orienting a little bit more towards my own art making is on the horizon, and also like completely lit up by seeing other people make art. And in terms of family, I mean, I feel like it's a whole navigation like everyone is going through right now, like re-navigating family dynamics and time and space. And it's kind of exciting to step into this and see people noticing that they want to be part of it and saying yes, because it allows me to see how I might be part of my family in a different way in terms of the business aspect of things.
Right. No, you are absolutely right. It brings, like you said, you identify certain things within that you might not have seen or connected before. Sarah?
Yeah, I've seen. It's funny because even though we're so entrenched in this and have been building this for for months now, I was finding in my personal life I wasn't making time for my own art practice.
Mm-hmm.
And it really took me being part of a community and a group and having those Zoom calls where we sit and we make art together while we're talking and sharing were the only times I was really setting aside for myself and for my own practice. So that was really interesting. And then also seeing my daughter kind of gravitate towards me. Whenever I would set up the supplies, whenever I'd ask, she'd say no. Whenever I just the supplies, sit down, have my paper, have my paints, she'd jump into my lap, and take over and want to do it. And so that was really, yeah, we just like had to get into it to make it happen. So that's been really a huge impact of this. And getting outside too. We got so kind of tucked into our own home.
Yeah.
Through school and work and all the different things that come up, that we kind of needed this space and this break to kind of get outside and give ourselves permission to do that. So that accountability has been really huge for me.
And those are the experience that we want to hear, because again, it's like your entrepreneurs, sounds like your moms, it sounds like, people have been tucked in, into these spaces. And then, as artists, it's like, we've got to burst out. It's like, we need that, to say hi, we've got to get out there. We need to be around, people, nature. So it's that human, connectivity that, is so important. Eleanor, question for you. The collab, if someone's watching and they're saying, okay, because I would say the best birthing an idea or a business out of adverse times is probably, the best. Or if you were like, kind of like, ahead of the curve and you kind of, got a business going a couple of years ago, I will tell you, so where are places that people, entrepreneurs, because there's businesses being birthed, and I love what I'm seeing, especially women. We've got a whole segment of women, but we've got a whole segment of like women of color who are just coming. Everyone is just connected, but I think they're taking that inner passion. And I think people have had a time to sit down and pivot and kind of like think of like, what am I going to do? There's more in life. And so it's just, everything just starts coming. So if someone's watching and they're thinking about birthing an idea or a business, give me three, because I know you probably have 20, but give me three suggestions or some advice of where people that are sitting on these ideas. Oh, unmute. We don't want to miss anything.
Sorry. It's such a great question, because in these times we've seen such an enormous shift of like, where does security come from? And things that we thought were secure, the rug got pulled out from under, and then we find, making my own path that doesn't look like anybody else's and might not have regular hours. The ability to do that could be, a true source of security and resiliency and everything else. So, if you have a fledgling business that's trying to weather the storm, if you have 1 to 3 years under your belt, Liberty Bank has a small business academy that they put all online now, and by attending that online small business academy, you get access to a line of credit, which is very helpful. So that's Liberty Bank, and they have, it's pretty easy to Google and find. So the Liberty Bank Small Business Academy online is one resource, but that again is for existing businesses, but new, 1 to 3 years, like just hatched.
Right.
And then the city just announced, like just in the past couple of days, you may have heard, a loan program for minority-owned and women-owned businesses. Looking at disproportionate stresses and the ways that households are put together now, and where the need is. So details about that are going to be rolling out, and that's a really great thing. And I've seen Collab do incredible work, and Collab has ongoing, opportunities. They do, I think, a fall and a spring program where you get a lot of interaction with your cohorts, right? And get to work out and influence each other's business models. And so
I can see it's working here. So that's why I can absolutely see that this is working. So yeah, like you said, in Collab, and then Eleanor, we're both members of the Connecticut Minority Professional Women's Association, which is great. Shout out to them. And so there's there's so many organizations that right now are really nurturing and feeding us, especially women in business. And we're excited about that. So, but like, again, those are, don't forget to check out Collab.
I just dropped their link in. Yep. collabnewhaven.org.
collabnewhaven.org /accelerator. Yeah. And we'll put these, I'll have Harry put some of these links up for, their program, the art program, and for Collab, because I think it's important that we all share. And once we share, I think, again, you never know who you're going to be talking to. And our next show, actually, I'm going to be hosting a series of so you want to start your own business. Mm-hmm. And so I will tell you, if there's anyone out there that is thinking about owning their own business, please contact you can contact Alisa. You can get me at the House of Salsa or Rhythm Brewing Company, because I think it's so important to have conversations like this. So that series is going to be starting next week. And so I want to get those innovative. I want those people that are sitting on these ideas. But, I want to give of my time and my advice of anyone that's thinking about getting into business. I could be like, don't do it. No, I would never say that. But it's one of those things. Oh my God, do it. I always say, I'm going to jump in the pool and I pray that there's water in it. And for both businesses that I've jumped in the pool, there has been water in it. And so I've been blessed to do that. But yeah.
You reminded me, our mutual friend Sammy Williams is the entrepreneur in residence at the Ives Squared New Haven Free Public Library. And she has regular office hours. I mean, it's all virtual, and she's very accessible. So I'd say that's a great kind of like front door to talk through your ideas and get plugged in to a really wide range of resources.
Absolutely. And we'll be having Sammy on the show because her reach and her contacts are, incredible. Bree, Sarah, let us know what is next for women's work. I'm excited. I'm going to see about getting my own box. Yes. Take a little time. That'll be my downtime. I will go out to the parents in Bethany, and I'll go out to the resort, and that's where there's so much nature. I can get rocks and leaves and branches and probably some sea moss. I don't know what else I'll find out there, but
I would love to see what you create.
Yes, I'm going to watch, and you know what? I think I'm probably better than stick figure now, so I got to give myself a little bit more credit. But
if this gives you any confidence, listen, I just printed some seaweed, Alisa. So
okay,
there's really no.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So let us know. In closing, what's next? What are you hoping to see as your business continues to blossom and bloom, and what can we be looking for?
We have our next offering for the summer, our 4-week offering, which is enrolling like in the next few days. We'll begin to enroll for moms and kids. And then in the fall, right. I have a lot of ideas that I haven't really formulated yet. One is simply like hike and art. So walks and art, which is a simple way to connect and build community. The other idea that I have is after reading White Fragility and realizing that white women really need to build racial stamina, I've thought of an alternative to a book club, where we read a book that expands us and then we respond through art making. And I think that could be really powerful because it works on a sensory level, an embodied level. And I think the answer to racial justice is embodied. So I'm really excited about that. And I know I have a lot to learn, but it's brewing.
That's right. That is a right step. And that's a perfect way to move forward. And when you get that book club together, please let me know, because then I love to have you back on here. Do all that here so that we can do some discussions with that. Bree, I love that idea. Love it. And Sarah, what's next for you as, as Lab and as this business?
Yeah, we're just continuing to play. We're trying to just keep an open mind as a business. And that was one of the most important things I think I learned in the collab program, was to ask for a lot of feedback, kind of experiment and be agile and talk to your community and find out what they are needing, what are they feeling, how can we best serve them. So continuing and luckily we have an amazing group of women who love to share. So we're in a good position.
I love that. That is, and that's what it's all about. That's really what what it's all about. And Eleanor, I know, of course, you're going to be continuing to keep people together, and connecting, because that's what she does. Anything on the horizons, for you, Eleanor?
Well, I'm excited to be able to offer an event soon, through Verge Arts Group on nonviolent communication skills for artists, helping artists both engage with difficult conversations and also kind of buffer from internalizing conflict. Both of those can be difficult for folks who take in a lot of sensory information and are processing. But I'm a member right now of the Community Foundation, the Greater New Haven Community Foundation's Neighborhood Leadership Program, and through that I've met a wonderful person in my cohort there who specializes in nonviolent communication. So we're going to be offering a session for artists, I believe July 20th. So that'll be going up in the next
Love it. Love it. Well, a lot of exciting stuff going on. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. It's always good to get together with folks, and especially women who are just making changes, and especially through art. So I really appreciate your time, Eleanor. Thank you for bringing this together. Always love to see what you have going on.
You're the best.
Thank you. We're going to make sure that we post your links up on the show, so people can absolutely contact you directly. But we really want to thank you guys. Thank all of you coming on. Bree, Sarah from Women's Work. Don't forget, check them out. They've got boxes.
We'd love for you to join us too.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
We'll make it work.
Yes, we will. And so that is our time today. I want to just, again, it's so good to be back. 103.5 FM, WNHH. Thank you, ladies.
Hey, New Haven Independent.
Woohoo! New Independent. Love them. The whole crew over there. It's been great because they've kept, the shows going, and I'm just so happy, to be back. But yeah, we've got this, month, and next month we've got some great shows, which we'll be talking about a ton of stuff, arts, music, but we're going to be diving into some deeper things, social injustice, just racial equality, just a bunch of stuff. It's a good conversations. Everyone is always welcome here on the Talk Sip. This is where we, talk, and it's always 5 o'clock somewhere. So we sip on some great ideas, and we're just excited to see everybody again. So with that said, I want everyone to have a great day, wonderful day. And remember, always keep that glass half full. Stay focused, stay positive, stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. It's awesome. Thanks, Eric.